Hello, I am Melissa Bonney from CTN, and welcome to Show Your Love A2, Ann Arbor's diverse group of independent restaurants, retail shops, musicians, artists, and professional services make up the downtown community that you know and love. And we're here to highlight them to find out what makes them a special staple in Ann Arbor. And today I'm interviewing RoosRoast. RoosRoast is one of Ann Arbor's favorite coffee roasting businesses. And John Roos, born and raised in Ann Arbor, was an artist and a chef before figuring out how to combine his two passions, coffee and making art. Welcome to the show, John.
Melissa, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. You're not actually, your location isn't too far from CTN, but I wanted to get a little bit of insight and tell me how have things been going with the business in this, in these trying times that we have, and fill us in. Tell me a little bit about your background, real briefly, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, well, my background is in restaurant and hospitality and working in kitchens as a chef. And I just sort of evolved, and I traveled a lot after high school. I went to high school here in Ann Arbor, and then I traveled a lot, and I was sort of like a ski bum basically. And then I became a surf bum, and just not that great at either of those things. But I had to work, and my work was in restaurants and hotels, and I end up moving back to Michigan after many years. And in 19, let's see, when was it? 2002, I moved back here, and I had a number of jobs. And then I had always had this idea of roasting coffee, and I'd been living in Portland, Oregon for about 15 years. And then I saw a lot of really great coffee there, and I wanted to do that. So I started roasting coffee in my garage, and the story goes on from there.
Okay, wow.
And I started in my garage in like 2002, and then sort of evolved and became a real business in 2005. And then the short story, the long short story is that it just, through persistence and working and all the people who helped me, we became a business, a really great business. So yeah, now we have two cafes, one on East Liberty in Ann Arbor, right in between Main and 4th. That's just a cafe. And then on Rosewood Street off of South Industrial, we have where we roast coffee and do the production, bagging. We also have coffee and tea. And then we have a little cafe there too. In the pandemic, we had to do a lot of we closed Liberty down for 7 months, and then we were reopened in the fall. And now that's just it's a great little like fast, walk in, get your coffee, go. And we also have really good burritos, and we have the trucker sandwich, which is like kind of a takeoff of McDonald's egg McMuffin. It has kale on it, and one doesn't. And so those are really popular, and we can make those really fast and fresh. So we work on speed and getting them out there and not keeping people, stuck inside. So you can get a quick breakfast for cheap and then move on. Yeah.
And so yeah, you definitely have a menu, and it sounds like it's expanded over the years. What about going back to the coffee? You do have one called the Lobster Butter Love, and that's a cute name. So tell me how that came about.
Well, that was like, it's a funny story. Like I never met my grandfather Roos because he passed away way before I was born. And apparently he was really a wild man, and he loved to like do practical jokes on people, and he worked in the printing. He could fix printing presses, so he had a lot of jobs here in Ann Arbor because this was a big printing area for publishing books, and the university published a lot of books, the hospitals, there's a lot of publishing. There used to be a lot of bookmaking here. But he would put butter in his coffee, and he smoked and put butter in his coffee. So I had this idea of butter in your coffee, but then a restaurant, Eve, had asked me to make a really special coffee for them. And Eve now has a restaurant on Washington Street, Frida Petitas. So anyway, Eve had this gourmet restaurant, and I would make coffee for them. And we were tasting it one day, and someone was tasting it and said it tastes like butter. And I was riding my bike home from that tasting, And
Mhm.
I was like going butter, butter. And then I started going lobster butter love, because when you're in cooking, lobster butter is something where you partially cook a lobster and then take it out of the shell and then you finish cooking it in butter. You can look it up. It's a very French culinary thing, lobster
Okay.
butter. So then I just called this coffee lobster butter love because it was very buttery, and the name caught on, and it was like 3 years before I actually had a graphic for it. But
Oh,
I would
okay.
just write lobster butter love on the bags of coffee and ship them out. But I was really like grassroots and small, and forever I was just one person running around town with coffee on me at all times, selling it, doing whatever.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that part of the story, part of my, like, I had to take a job to make money when I got back here. And I started, I worked at Dunning Subaru selling Subarus. And that was part of my thing, is I realized that in order to like become, like, people didn't remember their car salesman. And there was always like a guy in the car dealership who had like a story. There was like Jerry, who'd been, he was like Jerry from Alaska. Then there
Hmm.
was Doug the mortician. There was a guy who called Outback Wally, who didn't even work there, but everyone asked for him all the time. He hadn't worked there in years. So I was like, I need to have a shtick. So my thing became
Uh,
John the coffee guy, right? So
okay.
I
Okay.
would put coffee in my garage, bring it to the dealership, and tell people when they came in and I started working with them on a sale. I would say, when you buy a car today, I'm going to give you a bag of my own coffee that I just roast. And that would make them laugh and kind of put them at ease. And it
Sure.
worked really well because they started coming back to the dealership more and more and more for this coffee. So it kind of like grew and grew and grew out of like my second job. Yeah, so that was very Ann Arbor. I don't know if that would happen in any place but Ann Arbor, because Ann Arbor people are weird and quirky and they love stories and they love stuff. So, I mean,
They
it's
asked.
partially the audience of Ann Arbor that's helped me do this.
That's so true. I love it. Yeah, it's very quirky. That's a perfect way to sum up, folks.
People love
But
coffee.
quirky in a fun way, for
Yeah,
sure. And you also have your coffee. So if I can't make it to a cafe, to one of the two locations, I can try your coffee in the local grocery stores, right? It's also packaged
yeah.
for.
Our whole thing is like we're deep local. We're in like all the
Yeah.
small, well, not all, but like it's like Sparrow Market or Produce Station.
Okay.
Argus Farm Stop sells a lot of our coffee. They have two shops, one on Packard and one on Liberty, and they make our coffee. Also, Agricole in Chelsea, they make our coffee. There's so many places. Let me think of. I should have a list down here so I can just. But there were
That's
so many
okay.
places.
Yeah.
The Grange restaurant serves our coffee. There's so
Okay.
many good places. So check it out. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you real briefly before we wrap up, what changes or what do you see happening now going forward, with your business and, how times have changed? Do you
Yeah.
see, what do you
I,
see changing for
well, I
you?
heard that one good thing I heard that is they had the healthy streets downtown last summer, and that really helped us. And that was really good. The Main Street Association did that, and I think they're going to do that again this summer, which
Okay,
means they close Main Street and Liberty, and that lets people, like, it's an open mall almost where you can walk outside and go to the restaurants. That's really good. That creates, I think this pandemic thing is not going to let up anytime soon. I mean,
mhm,
you
mhm.
know, we're going through it, we're making progress, but people will be wearing masks, and we will be doing everything we can to keep our stuff safe. Our staff is amazing, and they really do a
Good.
great job of being, like, honestly, I can't, this group of people is amazing. If this would have been me when I was their age, I was too
Yeah,
wild to like hold down. So it's really good. We're going to just stay safe, and
good.
hope
Yeah.
people keep buying coffee. So thank you. And thanks to Ann Arbor for really, supporting us, and we'll be there for you.
Thank you. Yes, that's our goal here, and we are here, all of us collectively as a city and a county, and wanting to help Ann Arbor businesses in any which way we can, and making sure that the message goes out. What everyone's doing professionally, individually, what they're doing to keep their patrons and their staff safe as well. So,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. Yeah. So we're roasting fresh coffee. So come in, check it out. And yeah, so should be good.
Okay, John. Well, thank you so much for talking with me, taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you, Melissa. It's so awesome. And thanks to CTN. And I love public television. Yeah.
Good. Yes, keep
Good
watching. I
job.
love to hear that. And remember, everyone, to eat, drink, and shop Ann Arbor. Help us preserve the personality and spirit of Ann Arbor by showing your love to the community. And visit a2gov.org/CTN for more great programs and services. And subscribe to our YouTube channel as well at CTN Ann Arbor. And again, thanks for watching.